truth is the best medicine we ever have is located inside of us, and one of the saddest truths is most people never realize that in their lifetime. And breath is one of those medicines.
Yeah. Amen to that. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you tomorrow. Enjoy that. Go to UI Radio and download our UI Radio network on the Apple Store, and you can listen to the show over and over again as much as you want, or Spreaker.com or wherever else. See you then. Take care.
You have been listening to the Good Intentions Show on the UI Radio Network.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
If you have investments and are tired of watching your money disappear when the market goes down, then feel you're not making enough when it goes back up, do something and fix all that. Take an investment class at Online Trading Academy. They teach the smart way to trade stocks, options, futures, forex, even Bitcoin. You're taught in a classroom by pro traders who are certified, currently trade, and profitable. They show you what they do every day, how to pick the right investments, how money is made in up, down, and sideways markets, how to time the market, and how to limit the risk on all trades using a patented rules-based strategy taught only at Online Trading Academy. Call now for a pair of tickets to a free half-day class in Broward or Palm Beach to see if it's right for you. You'll also get a copy of the Wall Street Insiders Kit packed with valuable trading ideas. Free. Call now. Online Trading Academy. 954-668-2510. 954-668-2510. 954-668-2510.
1470 AM and 95.3 FM, the Health and Wealth Radio Network. Wake up with the Steve Kane Show.
Just tell me what your problem is.
With replays overnight, every night. WNN. Talk 1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach. And 95.3 FM, W237BD Boca Raton. The Health and Wealth Radio Network. This is Talk 1470. Talk 1470. WNN.
The opinions expressed in the following sponsored program are strictly those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Shub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
Welcome to the show. Well, as you can hear, I am not Dan. Dan is having a fun time doing something out in Las Vegas, something either illegal or, otherwise. He's actually called in. He'll be helping us out with the first segment of the show, talking about golf, since he's the expert. And then after he comes on, we're going to talk about some travel deals, what's going on this month in the world of travel, how you can get a great deal on many locations this month from South Florida and beyond. Then we're going to go into some companies that you might not want to use to book your travel that I've actually had problems with in the past on my last trip, which we'll also talk about. And then we'll go into my brand new website on travel. So first, we're going to bring on Dan, who's going to give us all of the updates in the golf world. Hello, Dan.
Hey, Devin. How you doing?
It's weird being here without you.
It's weird for me to be not there.
Calling,
actually.
yeah, right?
I'm not always there, but as you mentioned, I'm here live at the Cosmopolitan on the 48th floor in Las Vegas.
Wow.
And,
what are you doing up there?
Update. Say that again?
What are you doing up there? Having drinking, eating dinner?
Not yet, but I will be going out to dinner in a few minutes. I'll update you on that. I'm going to see Donnie and Marie tonight, actually, which be interesting. It's been rated one of the top shows out here in Vegas almost every year for the past decade. So they keep thinking they're going to work a couple of years and then retire, and they keep getting new contract offers, so they just keep playing. So we'll see. I'll let you know. But I did want to give a brief golf update, because that's what I do, not what you do.
Right.
And then I can talk a little bit more about my trip out here in Vegas, because like with everything, just like what you had mentioned, whenever I travel, I like to tell everybody the good and the bad, so that everybody can learn, not to make the same mistakes and try and fine-tune everyone's trip so that it's all good and no bad. But first of all, I wanted to just remind everybody that I've been talking about this for the last few weeks, but the deadline is finally here. A friend of the show, Ralph Cochran, he has been doing these golf tournaments now for a couple of years. This is going to be his third annual event, which is going to be tomorrow. So if you're listening live on Friday night, this is for you. So it's Saturday, April 28th at the Mayaku Lakes Country Club in West Palm Beach. Registration starts at 11:30, shotgun at 1 o'clock. They're going to be raising money to build a second school. This guy, Raf, he's 13 years old, and he's building a second school now for poor children in Jamaica. And if you're interested in playing, I think they still might have a couple of spots left. So what you got to do is you got to call the folks from Food for the Poor, and that would be LaToya Boyne. Her phone number is 954-427-2222, extension 6901. Or you can also probably, the easier way would be just to go to foodforthepoor.org/RAFE, and you can get more information. It's a great cause, so go play some golf and raise some money. So with that being said, in honor of you, Devin, we're going to talk more travel and less golf. How's that?
Sure, sounds good to me.
All right, so I've been talking quite a bit about the passenger issues and travel issues on airlines. Of course, Southwest had a major issue, tragedy a couple of weeks ago. I just heard that one of the passengers, who was a couple of rows behind the woman who perished, has filed a lawsuit against them. However, I flew on Southwest coming out here to Las Vegas. My flight was delayed about an hour. You know, they're busy trying to check all of these engines to try and make sure, nothing else happens, of course, and they fly all the same planes, Southwest. So that means every single plane pretty much, maybe not the newer ones, but a lot of checking had to be done. So an hour late, but I have to admit that even though I am a favorite of theirs and I was a little disappointed that, perhaps their maintenance was not what it's supposed to be, the flight was great, the attendants were great, everybody had a good time, plenty of snacks that were free, of course, soft drinks that are free, free drink coupons that they send me, the bags fly free, so all was good. So we got here. I'll be flying them on the way back as well, so we'll see if they can keep up their record with me at least. So, yeah. Then as soon as I got here, I went to eat at one of my personal favorites, was especially when you come in late into town. It's a place called the Pepper Mill. And the Pepper Mill is on the Strip down near the Convention Center. And this is a throwback to, the 60s Las Vegas. It still has, the crushed red velvet walls. And
really?
An incredible lounge with this gigantic fire pit and walls of videos, like music videos that are playing in their cocktail lounge. The waitresses are all kind of dressed retro. The service is incredible. The portions are huge. So excellent as always, the Pepper Mill. I recommend that for anybody that comes into town. Then I checked into the Encore and Wynn with my buddy John. We each had separate rooms, and I made these reservations for the two of us 6 months ago. And our non-smoking king-size beds were not available, and they were offering us smoking with two small beds, and our wives did join us, so having two small beds is not the best. So that was a little bit disappointing on the part of Encore and Wynn.
Yeah, along with the allegations against Wynn recently.
Well, true.
So on top of that.
Out, so, yes, that was a major embarrassment. They did finally force him out. He even was forced to sell all of his stock, and I mean, as a punishment, he had to just keep the $2 billion.
Oh no, yeah, right.
The stock. So he did make out that badly, I guess. But so I don't endorse his behavior in any way, shape, or form. When I made this reservation, I think it was even before those allegations were happening. So, but in any event, the next day they gave us a better room. But, it was just a hassle to have to move for the second night. And they did include breakfast buffet. Each day.
Those are nice.
And I do have to admit that it was excellent. So, so pluses and minuses for Encore and Wynn. Also went to visit my favorite Thai restaurant this side of Bangkok. And everybody knows I've spoken about it before. They were in this real kind of seedy shopping plaza towards the downtown area, and their roof collapsed. And they recently, about a month or two ago, opened up in a brand new location, and they're still going to try and renovate the old place too and reopen that. But this is Lotus of Siam. It's very, very famous here in Vegas. You got to make a reservation to get in. The new place is beautiful. The service was wonderful. The food was great as always. I tried some prawns, chicken wings, a noodle dish, and my favorite, which is not on the menu, but you have to ask for it. It's these little ribs that they serve as an appetizer that are breaded and deep fried. And I know that sounds weird or maybe not even good, but it's very light and crispy, and it's just excellent. And their pineapple fried rice was good too. So it is like a must-go-to place if anybody is in Las Vegas and you like any kind of Asian food. It's inexpensive. It's on Flamingo, off the Strip, so you need to have a car or get an Uber or a Lyft or something like that. But it's not to be missed. Lotus of Siam. I can't stress that enough to all you listeners out there. Another favorite place of mine went to this morning. And, well, first of all, we had to leave the Encore and move over to the Cosmopolitan where I'm sitting right now. Beautiful view.
Yeah, it's really nice over there.
Renovated room, 2 small beds again. So, not thrilled with that. They could have done better. I've stayed here many times before. It usually is a perfect situation this time. So the good news is, long lines to check in, but as a Marriott Gold member, I know that there's like a lounge that you could go to that most people don't know. There's no sign, so it's a little secret for the listeners that you can go into this lounge and there's no lines at all, and they treat you like a VIP, and they have Starbucks products, so you can get a coffee or a hot chocolate or something. So really, really nice. So they took care of me well in that respect. No free breakfast here, though, so I'm a little disappointed about that. But, what are you going to do? Today, so for breakfast this morning, another one of my favorite places to go to that I've been to frequently. It's always good, and that's the Hash House A-Go-Go, which is a chain that's mostly out west, although they recently opened a location in Orlando on I-Drive. And Hash House A-Go-Go is known for incredibly huge portions. So for breakfast, if you get a pancake, it looks like a manhole cover. Also famous is their chicken and waffles, which is stacked about a foot tall. All of their meals easily can feed 2 people, if not 3. Although I have to say, again, the service was a bit of an issue today. It's always crowded. Mm-hmm. You always have to wait a while to get a table. It's located at the Link, which is in a hotel that was recently renovated. So we waited about a half hour for a table. The food took another half hour to arrive, and it was all cold, the entire table.
Oh, no.
So we had to send it back. It did come back better, and everything was okay. So it seems
hit or miss.
And in a second, we're going to hear from our sponsor, Labor Finders, who will, verify if you were to ask them or me that finding good workers is really difficult in today's economy. And an economy like Las Vegas that has its ups and downs as far as, the population and the levels of service, I get a feeling that finding good help in Las Vegas these days is not easy. So it's starting to show just a little bit. But I've been to Hash House A-Go-Go so many times. It's always fun, so I'm certainly not going to stop going now. I'm going to, give it another try. So we'll see. Today, I took a ride out to the Red Rock Canyon. Have you ever been there before, Devin?
I might have when I was 10 or 11, but I have not gone when I have been cognizant of such things. I did last trip. I did have a view of the canyons from my window, which was amazing and beautiful, but I didn't have enough time. I know it's about 40 minutes outside of town, but it's on my list next time.
It's a lot of people who come to Vegas don't rent a car. They don't leave the Strip.
Yeah.
And it's really a mistake. Red Rock Canyon, it's very, very similar, the rocks and stuff, to Sedona. And today the weather's been unseasonably warm, about 15, 20 degrees hotter than it's supposed to be. It's been about 100.
Wow.
So
that sounds awful.
Some people did get out and, and hike and things like that. There's a drive. It's like a 17-mile drive. You just wind your way through the canyon, and you can see all the beautiful rock formations and the mountains, and it's really breathtaking. And the pace in Las Vegas, with the gambling and the Strip and all the people, and it's just so fast. And to be able to get outside and see some beautiful nature like that is really, really good. And the days and the nights are very long. So if you hear, I've been here, it'll be about a week.
Wow,
and
lucky you.
You can't gamble all day, every day, and you can't eat buffets all day, every day. So to get out and see some nature is really cool. Now, tomorrow, I'll be here for one more day, and hopefully I'm going to take a ride to Mount Charleston, which is also about 30 or 40 minutes outside of town, and typically it's got snow up on the peak, and it's very, very cool to take such a short drive and go from 100 degrees in the desert to be on a snow-capped mountain. So I also recommend that to any of the listeners that are tuning in. Tonight, I'm also going to go to a very cool restaurant that's a little bit pricey, but they do have a happy hour. So I'm going to go early before I go see Donnie and Marie. It's a place called Sushi Roku. It's in the shopping plaza that's part of Caesars. And they've got really good sushi. It can, like I say, it can be very expensive. But what's cool about it is the view. You're almost, it looks like you're sitting in the middle of the strip looking down the strip because it kind of like hangs over the strip. So the views are incredible. And like I said, most nights from 4 to 6, they have a happy hour with all sorts of items for like $5, $6, $7 a piece, including sake.
Nice.
I'll do some sake and some sushi and pay a much better price than most people will. Also, tomorrow we're thinking about checking out some new trending places in a trendy neighborhood called East Fremont. Of course, it's east of Fremont Street downtown. A place either called Therapy or Eureka, which are supposedly really cool new places that are very popular. So we'll see about that. Whatever I haven't reported on, I'll report on next week. And that's all I got. With that, I think it's time to have a little shout-out to our sponsor. What do you think?
I'm ready for it, but you're going to have to do the shout-out.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is that, and then I'm going to turn it over to you because, as I heard, you've got lots of interesting facts for everybody on all of your travels. So I know I'm leaving the show in good hands with you, Devin.
Yes, thank you.
Our sponsor, Labor Finders. So if your business needs industrial workers, or if you're looking for work, you got to call Labor Finders. Labor Finders places for temporary or temporary to hire opportunities for skilled, semi-skilled, or general labor positions such as plumbers, electricians, concrete workers, forklift operators, drivers, landscapers, hospitality, office clerical, and much, much more. Labor Finders has almost 200 offices nationwide. Near where you're sitting in Boca, they have offices in Homestead, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and in Jupiter. So if you require legal insured workers or if you're looking for work, call Labor Finders toll-free at 800-864-7749. That's 800-864-7749, or just visit laborfinders.com. All right, that's all I got from Vegas. I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you, Devin.
Perfect. Thank you. So Dan was just mentioning that he's going to the Don and Marie concert, which reminded me of not only some concerts that are coming up, but some concerts that had just taken place that you might have missed. Last weekend was the Eagles concert. If anyone was down in Miami Gardens for that, it was a great time and a legendary performance. And upcoming, we have on May 4th, Lynyrd Skynyrd is going to be down here for anyone who's interested in that. And then on the 17th, which I am taking my mom to for Mother's Day, is Steely Dan and the Doobie Brothers. And the Doobie Brothers are her favorite band, so I will be taking her to that. That's on the 17th at 7:30, and that's actually up here in West Palm. I'm sure it's around here somewhere right off the highway. From there, I'm going to get into deals of the week. So first, I just joined cheapcaribbean.com. I've taken their trips before, but I just joined as a subscriber, and they immediately sent me a coupon for $100 off my next trip. And I was looking, and trips start at around $4.99 for 3 nights plus, and that includes airfare from really anywhere in the U.S. You put in your city and state, and they will give you the price of the entire trip from there. So for about a 5-night trip, you're looking at $550, and all of these resorts are all inclusive and have several pools, so you get all the drinks, food, fun that you want. So $550 a person, and then take $100 off of that. I've used their service before for a trip down to Jamaica, and it was a really great time. The only issue I had with it was the distance from the airport. So that's something that you want to look into, because they'll definitely raise the rates from the airport to any resort in most countries that you're going to. I also noticed while I was at work that Royal Caribbean is having a 50% off sale for the 2nd through 4th passengers in any of their cabins. They have about 27 cruise ships right now, and over half of them depart from Miami or Fort Lauderdale at least some part of the year. And I was looking and I was doing some research for work, and I found some 3-day cruises for $199 that actually left on Friday afternoon. So you wouldn't technically have to miss work if you could get off maybe a few hours early. And they embarked around 5 or 6 p.m. on Friday and got back on Monday at 7 a.m. So you'd be on time for work. And with that second person discount, you're looking at $150, 100, 200 for the first person, 100 for the second person. Both people do have to pay full taxes, which can get up there depending on the ports you're in. But for those 3-day stays, $199. For the longer stays, maybe $400 or $500 for a week or more. And then I also saw some Carnival deals, some Norwegian, and a lesser-known cruise line, which is MSC. It's a little higher than Norwegian in terms of luxury, but they are running right now a 7-night cruise out of Miami through the Caribbean for less than $600. So I think that's a really great deal. And if I had a few weeks off, I would definitely take that. And then we'll look at some of the deals Dan sent over. There was, he sends and really likes Travelzoo, and he's a member of there. I'm not a member, although based on the deals that he sent over, I think I should be. He sent over one that was for African Safari, and it was a tour, so everything's included. There were 6-night, 10-night, 11-night, and 12 nights to South Africa. The one that stood out to me was the 10-night because it goes through Kruger National Park, which is in the heart of South Africa, very far from civilization. You're sleeping out either in a hut. The hut does have a bathroom. You can also stay in one of the, famous luxury accommodations that cost $500 or $600 a night. But this deal for 10 nights is $21.99 for Travelzoo members and $26.99 for everyone else. I remember when I went to South Africa, the flight alone was over $1,000 per person, plus transportation, plus getting around inside South Africa. If you're flying into Cape Town, you have to take other flights to get out to these national parks. You have to rent a car if you want to get anywhere safely. So actually doing a tour here would probably be a lot less expensive than buying everything separately on your own. Next, I want to get into my most recent trip, which was to Mexico. And I was there for a week and spent $500 on the entire trip. And that included Airbnb, flight there, flight back, food, mezcal, pulque, which is the national drink and made with agave. And how did I do that? So first I started off looking at all of the different websites for flights down to Mexico, who was flying there, how long they were taking, if there were 6 stops on the way, and how much it was based on the date. So I had to find a good date, a good airline. Ended up booking it from Fort Lauderdale from JetBlue. And I booked JetBlue because it was the least expensive option. But I did actually really enjoy the flight. They had unlimited snacks, and it wasn't just peanuts and crappy nothings. They had chips and different types of chips and pretzels and mixed nuts, and it was really good. And then they had unlimited soft drinks as well. So like Dan was saying, a lot of these discount airlines don't do that anymore. So we're really lucky to still have JetBlue. And if Southwest's airlines don't fall apart, then we're lucky to have them as well. So flew over to Mexico. Only took about 2.5 hours, plus there was a 1-hour time difference. So we really got there in an hour and a half in the morning, got to start out the day. And I know a lot of people think, and I did as well, that Mexico is dangerous, especially Mexico City. You hear a lot about robbery and different crimes that go on there. And I have to tell you, it was one of the best trips I've taken, one of the least expensive trips I've taken, and I would go back there in a second. The people were so friendly. They were so accommodating and welcoming, and I had such a great time. And I didn't ever feel unsafe or like I was about to be robbed or taken or anything like that. It was a really great time. So I would definitely recommend going there on a visit soon, especially if you can get tickets for around $100 or less, including taxes, from either Fort Lauderdale or Miami. So whatever's most convenient. I tend to find that those two airports are less expensive than any other airport in Florida because they're the biggest and have the most international flights. So now we're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to get into some websites that I did not like when booking my most recent trips. Okay, and we're back. So first I'm going to go into a website that I actually researched after having a problem with it and found that on Yelp, Facebook, anywhere that people could complain, they were complaining. So I'll tell you a backstory. I was in Norway by myself, completely alone, and I needed a room ASAP. And I was on Booking.com. Why I was on there, I think I just searched and it came up for places in Oslo. So I look for a place and I book it. They send me a confirmation. I then traveled to the hotel where I supposedly had this reservation. They told me they had no idea, that I couldn't do anything. The money was tied up. They couldn't do anything but charge me again for a room, which I had no choice at that point to buy. And then I went online, and Booking has really no customer service or anyone there, and there's several complaints about their shady practices, going into things, doing things, how they do business and get sales. So that's definitely a website I avoid at all costs and never use, and recommend that all of my friends don't use. And then for this last trip to Mexico, the site I always use to find flights, it's a third party, so they send you on your way to another flight, is Skiplagged. I think they're an amazing company. They the guy who started it got sued by United because the way they do it, you might have heard of it, is by searching flights that may have your stop as a stopover on the itinerary. So technically you're not supposed to stop there. However, if you get off, it's not illegal. It's just frowned upon heavily by the airlines. So United did sue them, and they lost. But the point is, this website tells you to go to other websites, and it'll compare prices. So when I was looking for a flight to Mexico, it was the cheapest one by, I don't know, $4 or $5. So, of course, I was like, yeah, I'll buy it on here. And that was travelmary.com. So I went to book my flight, and it was $87 for each ticket to Mexico, which is an unbelievable price. So I put in my credit card information. I put in all of my home information, my name, guest name, book the ticket. I get an email that's very questionable about, oh, you tried to book and we don't really know. So I call, and this is what they told me. They said, yeah, we charged you for it. However, you're on the waiting list and we don't know if we'll have a seat. So what you should do is pay us more money for a different ticket. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. Give me the ticket that I paid for. And they said no, they would not give me the ticket. I demanded a refund, which I did get eventually. They had to refund the money to my account, which took a few days, which was another annoyance. So I was really annoyed about that. And then I tried to take up the complaint to a higher level, and it turns out that there are about 4 people that work in customer service, and there's no one else in the company that's accessible whatsoever. So while I did get my money back, I am not too happy with the way they do business, and I then went and checked on them as well to see